Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of On Cook and Wine. Again, thank you for watching, liking and subscribing and commenting. I see all your comments. I see all the likes. Please continue to like, subscribe. Today, we have the beautiful, lovely guest, Natalie. Natalie, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
She's a stylist, right?
Amongst other things.
Please let us know what else, because I don't want to mess up your introduction.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think above all things, I identify as a mother.
Oh, wow.
I think that's like one of my favorite titles. Am I Chloe? Mm-hmm. So hi guys, my name is Natalie Mhandu. I'm a personal stylist by profession, an image architect, a retail enthusiast. I have a retail chain of stores. Mm-hmm. And I am a single mother of one amazing teenager. I'm a teen mom. Yeah, I am a teen mom literally because I had a baby as a teenager and now my child is a teenager. So
and you don't even look like
I'm a premium teen mom.
Wow. Okay, so I think if I'm correct, did you grow up in Blair?
Part of my childhood was in Blair, hence you've seen me liking that crazy Lupane music.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh gosh, that's a part of my identity.
And I think I've seen a picture that you've posted quite a number of times. I think you were in Jubilee.
Yes, I was. So my stepdad, bless his soul, may rest in peace, who raised us, was purely in Ndebele. Okay. And for a part of my childhood, my mom was working for Zimra, based in Bulawayo. So I grew up in between Chigutu, where I am originally from, with my grandmother, and then I'd go to my mom's house in Bulawayo in Jubilee.
Oh, okay.
In 154.
She remembers the place.
When I switched my Ndebele accent, people were like,
how? Because I was shocked. I was like, wait, because I grew up in Blair. Like, Blair is home, like, my whole life.
I actually did my A-level in Blair. Okay?
Serious? Which school did you go to?
I went to ETech.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I did.
So tell me about, I went to Evelyn, like, yeah, you know, if you know about Evelyn, you know. We were
I was at Regina Mundi initially, so it's the same thing.
Yeah. If you know, you know. So tell me about your childhood. Like, what's the craziest thing that you did when you were a child?
Are you sure you want me to
please.
Right here? You know, they call me Madame for a reason.
Okay.
Yes, so you don't want to overshare the gory details that they can turn into a meme. But let's just say my young brother went through a lot of nonsense because of me as a child. I mean, I would do things and pin it on him.
Really?
Yes. But also I think, you know, we grew up in a society that was not so embracing of mental health awareness issues. I grew up labeled a hyperactive child. Rather, my teacher called me scatterbrained. And at the same time, I was such a loner. I mean, I'm a loner of note. So as a child, I think the craziest thing I did was what I, at one point, ripped my tracksuit from here down to the bottom. You know, we used to wear tracksuits in primary school as part of the uniform, like, you know, ghetto. And it was because I was curious to see what it would be like to have a vent on my track pants.
Wow.
But that was the little fashion designer me trying to come out.
It was coming out already. It was manifesting
I can tell you
itself.
my mother almost murdered me from
I can
beating
imagine.
me up. You know, I would sometimes tell my brother, Katija Madiri. And by that I meant, let's go and take coins from Gogo's little purse and buy things at school.
Shouldn't we all
and
do that at some point?
I would blame my brother for it. But also because I was a very complicated child. People failed to understand what really was wrong with me.
Happening.
So I grew up with the question, what is wrong with her?
And also, I think when we were growing up, our parents were different. Like, they were not taking time to actually sit with us.
To figure us out.
Exactly.
It was just when I was like 11, someone would say, when she hits puberty, she'll calm down. I'm sorry, Auntie Doreen. I'm still not calm.
We're still here. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
You know, so, okay. I mean, so teenage years?
Teenage years. So, one very shocking thing about me that probably a lot of people don't know is I'm a very intelligent person. Not to brag or anything, but I went to high school in a bursary.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was the best in Marsh West.
Serious?
Yes, I was literally the best student in Marsh West from grade 4. I think every time we had district exams, I would always come out number 1. I was very brilliant in school. I was in public speaking from the age of 8, and I got as far as nationals. So when I got to high school, I was a very smart child. But I think one of the things that gets to anyone's head is if you're good at what you do, we forget who to unopisa kumarengwenyu. For lack of a better word. So yeah, when I got into high school, I think one of the hardest things was for me to maneuver around that and to fit into a society that was different from where I was coming from. I was coming from Chegutu. where, we all had short hair, nothing was special, our houses were the same. Then you go to school and you're in class with an ambassador's child, an army general's child, and all you have is a single parent and a grandmother who's trying so hard. So parts of my high school included me losing my identity because I had no idea who I really wanted to be. So I thrived off trying to blend in so hard. And I think that's where I learned how to people please. Because when you become a people pleaser, you're able to fit into spaces that really don't align with who you are. It's something that I've had to unlearn as an adult. Like, it's only now that I know that I don't have to go and fit into that group. And the moment I learned that sometimes your power lies within you, standing out as a singular person, that's how you can thrive. But like from high school, I would try and force myself into squads and whatever. And I've actually never really had a friend group. Every time I try to force myself into one, I mean, you guys know I am the face of a toxic friend. I mean, when you talk about toxic friends, I'm the face of toxic friends. I'm not bragging about it, but I've been labeled as such. And I don't even want to try and deny those allegations because already I am a person living with ADHD. I am different. I'm neurodivergent. How my brain functions, how I function is different. So you realize that maybe what's normal to me is triggering to the next person. For example, I can be your best friend on paper, but I don't come to your house. Like ever.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't like phone calls.
But why do you think you've been labeled to be a toxic friend? Whoever is labeling you to be that, why, what got them to say, oh, Natalie is toxic?
Okay, so naturally I don't like addressing things, but I'm going to respect you enough to give a response or a comment on that. As we grow, Todo, we evolve. And if our friendship is built of me anchoring off you, like you're the matriarch and I'm following you. The day that I decide that I want to stand on my own, I'm going to offend you. Exactly. That's one. Point number two, friendship is a give and take situation. So you give to receive.
True.
I think at some point in time, I had a little bit too much resources. So I resorted to putting resources ahead of affection. Sometimes people don't want you to buy them flowers. They want you to give them a hug. And I don't want to blame it on my brain being ADHD, but I think I also had no idea who I was because I only got to figure myself out literally recently. And I was a very absent friend. So while you're an absent friend, I'm also unable to share certain details about myself. So if you share everything about yourself and I withhold certain information, it starts to look like, you've got other plans. But naturally, even my own family doesn't really know much about me.
I think I can relate to you, especially when you say absent friend. Like, I was thinking the other day, I was having a conversation with my friend. I was like, I don't know how people have tens of friends and they have a group and they got, like, I don't have that. Because I was thinking about, I want to have a party for my next birthday, but I was like, ooh,
do you even have 5 people to invite?
I don't even have 5 people to invite. And then also I'm like, how do you maintain such friendships? Because already with my 3 or 4 friends, sometimes I don't even talk to them for a while, I can't even be there for them the way I want to be there for them. So I kind of relate, but I also feel like you're in your 30s, right? I'm also in my 30s.
I'm in my 30s, yeah.
Yeah. At some point, it's like we're different people. We can't be having friends. We can't be friends where we like the same thing.
Yeah. So I think also for me, it came down to the time that I decided to make friends. I'm going to be very, what can I call it? I'm going to be very emotional.
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, I'm going to be very vulnerable. I was coming out of a relationship that broke me to pieces. So I decided to make friends as a way of avoiding retaliating and getting rebounds. So I said, let me learn to love in a way that doesn't involve any romance. That's how I decided to make friends. Because prior to that, you guys never heard problems or drama or anything around my name. And when you're hurting, you make really bad choices and bad decisions. Yeah. But naturally, like in all of us, we can see the little signs, the little red flags in people, like, this is not a compatible match for me. But because that's what's there, we go for it. So I feel like part of the reason why I might have ended up being labeled the toxic friend is I would bleed on people who didn't cut me. I don't know if I'm making sense. I was coming out of a really bad relationship where my whole personality was centered around being that man's person. So when we broke up, I didn't know how to be anything else. So it's either I am crying my eyes out or I'm excessively happy, such that you'd be confused, like,
What is
what
going
exactly
on?
what exactly is going on? Like, who are you? So in the process, not everyone is able to take that, and not everyone is able to understand that just 2 months ago you were heartbroken and sad, and then suddenly you're in Dubai, you're living your best life. And one thing about me, whether I have $100,000 at home or $3, you can't tell unless I tell you. You can't know it unless I tell you. So it's those little surprises that would come out of the blue unwarranted. But remember, now that I understand I've got ADHD, I understand how my brain works. I either hyperfixate on something or I'm attention deficit. So there's times where I'm fixated on something such that I neglect everything else. And there's an assumption around what's going on in my life. And once I lose interest and I'm somewhere else, it creates a whole different persona, a whole different narrative. And it was so confusing. So I think half the problems emanated from my friends not understanding
Who you are.
who I am, because I didn't understand me too.
True.
So I think the best thing that ever happened to me was being cancelled by your so-called social elites. Because when the social elites cancelled me, literally no one wanted nothing to do with me. So what it meant was I had time to deal with me. And I got off social media. I started therapy. Shout out to my therapist. I have what you call a spiritual therapist. She said, I'm not giving you medicine. We are going to sit cross-legged. We're going to do yoga. We're going to meditate. We're going to do emotional release.
What is a spiritual therapist?
They teach you how to let go of your hurt and deal with your emotions in a natural way without using any medicine of any sort. So we are big on meditation, emotional releasing. We are big on a number of things.
Okay, so
all of which evolve around character building. So you find yourself being able to talk about stuff and be vulnerably honest because you're in a space where until you're able to face something, I'm not releasing you. For example, I'll give an example of an emotional release. She would put me in a scenario where she says, all right, imagine the people who hurt you the most. Walking in, what are you going to say to them? Say it to me. Do you know, I was so angry the first 3 times I would black out with anger until I would be able to actually say whatever it is I thought I would have said without crying, until I could say it with a smile, until I could say it in a way that made me realize that I had forgiven them. There's nothing as hard as forgiving someone for an apology that never came. And from then on, I learned a lot about myself. And I actually told my psychiatrist that I do not want to take ADHD medicine.
So what is ADHD? Because I've heard a lot about it on TikTok, but I feel like I really don't know what it is.
Okay.
So what is it?
Okay. It stands for attention deficit hyperactive syndrome. So it simply means, I don't know if you've bumped into kids like that or people like that, or rather if you spend a little bit more time with me. It means it's a person who is unable to pay attention to something, who is fidgety half the time, whose brain think at the speed of light, who thinks of 7 things in one go, and at the same time, they can hyperfixate on something and hyper-concentrate on something. So literally, it's someone who does things in overdrive. It's someone who's unable to be in control of how their brain functions, because while you're thinking of this, you're handling this and you're doing that. For example, I can remember vividly what happened when I was 5, but I can forget where my car keys are while I'm holding them.
Oh, wow.
It's an extreme of both ends. But I think the highlight of it is the attention deficit, the inability to pay attention to something for so long. Yes. So people with ADHD struggle to concentrate and finish tasks. People with ADHD struggle to let go of things because there's a hyperfixation around that. Okay. And then there's hyperactivity, which means the fidgeting. You bump into someone who's always so loud and so happy. It's part of it.
Okay, so you mentioned now that you said then you didn't know who you were. Now that you know who you are, what will be an ideal friendship for you, especially at our age? Because I guess it's different from back then. What is it for you now?
So, funny story is I have friends now.
You what?
I have friends now.
Thank God.
Yes. And I always ask them, like, are you really sure about the choices you make in life? Because, like, how do you have me as a friend? And they always make fun of me. My best friend particularly is always telling me that the most beautiful thing about you that people don't realize is the amount of effort you put in everyone around you. So for that reason, I've allowed myself to learn to balance the good and the bad. Just like she said to me rather, Nat, point at 2 friends who don't gossip about other people. You can't, right? No. So why is it a big deal that you and I gossiped about the other one? So she made me realize that there is nothing that you do under the sun that other people don't do. The only difference is if me and her decide to come together and say, you're bad. We can convince everyone else you're bad.
Yeah.
Do you have your flaws? Yes, you do. But are they so bad? No, they're not. They're just like the rest of us. The only difference is that maybe, just maybe, because you unfortunately are in the public eye, it's easy for us to perceive you a particular way because we look at you a particular way. And I think the biggest problem is people expect you to set standards and examples and be a role model for their children when you have your own problems.
Ooh.
So
I like that.
Like my friendships now are centered on honesty. My friendships now are centered on being real to each other. Even if it means it's hurtful, I am going to speak out and I'm going to tell you, I don't like what you're doing. My friendships now are centered on not being people pleasers. So if whatever it is you're doing involves something I'm more comfortable with, I'm able to speak out without fear now. But before, I would just, okay, my friend hates this, I'm just going to fold. And when you fold for too long, it's going to break you. When you unfold, it's a problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know now like you said, you're a stylist, and we mentioned earlier that you reaped your tricks in. As a child, what is it that you wanted to do? Like, is there anything that I know? I always wanted to be a lawyer, but now I'm like, why?
I'm actually a law school dropout.
Serious?
Yes, I am.
So you wanted to be a lawyer?
Everybody knew she's going to be a lawyer. Remember, I was in public speaking. I can tell you one thing about me, Todo. I am yet to meet a person who can argue with me in decent English without cussing or using profanities. Straight up for an hour, exchanging words without using profanities, but like proper argument with me and come out victorious.
Wow.
I argued to the death.
So what happened? What changed?
I got pregnant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Circumstances, let's call them that.
Circumstances.
Yes. My daughter's nickname is Degree. My grandma always call it Degree.
Degree.
Exactly. But she's doing so well that I don't regret having her. She's the apple of my eye, and literally she's the only family that I have actually. So,
which uni were you at?
I was in UKZN. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is very silly to think now that I don't think I would have thrived as a 9-to-5 girl. I mean, I worked 9-to-5 jobs, and when I look back, I think now that I understand how my brain is wired, I'm meant to be an entrepreneur.
You've never thought about going back?
I have, because one of my biggest problems right now as an adult living with ADHD is I'm understimulated a lot. And once you're understimulated, it's very difficult to try and figure out a way on how to go through your day. Do you know there's days where I get what's called a brain paralysis. I'll wake up to do. I have 6 tasks to do. And if one of those tasks makes me feel overwhelmed, I can be frozen in one place. And before I know it, it's 5 p.m. and Sunday gaze. I haven't done anything. And it's a thing. People think it's how you're lazy. So at some point, I was like, let me get a 9-to-5 so I have a reason to jump and say, okay, my boss is going to be mad. But then I realized, no, let me create a busy schedule around my own work. And that's what I did. And now I think I enjoy what I do. I really do.
Okay. And what made you become a stylist? What made you say?
That's a very good question.
This is what I want to do for a living. I want to get paid to style people.
Okay, so I've always been a fashion enthusiast. I'm sure if you followed from way back, you can tell. So, from the 2023 era, when everything went down and everything. Actually, during that time where there was a lot of trolling and noise going on online, this is the actual first time I'm talking about this. I was heavily pregnant. Yes, I was heavily pregnant during that time, and I unfortunately lost my babies.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, man. I was expecting twins. I lost my babies. So after that, I learned how to sketch. By sketch, I mean like illustrations on clothes, like create something from scratch. And while I learned how to sketch, I like to read a lot because I am one person who has a lot of time to blow. I am a night owl. I sleep late. So I think in my pursuit of just trying to find something to keep me busy, initially my cousin bought me a coloring book for adults, and she said, when you feel stressed, use this. And while I'm doing that, I was like, no, I could actually do something that makes sense. Because in high school, I used to like word art and sketching these figurines for fashion. So I went back to doing that. Part of which is why I went back to being Catholic. Because I then say to myself, I want to do the 5 things that I used to do when I was happy the last time. And I realized that last time I was really happy, I was a 15-year-old. We used to love singing in the choir in church. We used to love art. We used to love fashion because I was doing fashion in high school. Why don't I go back to that? And at the same time, I was like, let me go back into my law degree. which I have been procrastinating till this day. So I started sketching, and while I was sketching, I then realized, actually, Mr. Roca said to me, okay, you can work on having a design or two, but because you procrastinate a lot to finish stuff, you're really good at styling clothes and making them look good. Why don't you try to do that? It was a suggestion.
Okay.
I did it once, I did it twice. The third time I realized, oh my goodness, I'm good at this.
Oh, wow.
It really was a suggestion born out of a friend trying to rescue me from myself.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And you also say something that I really think is interesting and very important. You said you tried to remember 5 things that you used to do when you were happy.
When I was really happy.
And I feel like I should try that sometimes.
We should.
I feel like, because it's like sometimes you get in the space and you're like, you don't like your life, you're depressed, and you're like, I don't know how to get back to that place.
I'll tell you this. I became a terrible parent to my child because I naturally, even up until now, this is hard to believe, but I'm an introvert. I like staying by myself. I am actually a loner of notes by choice. I am not a lonely person. I am a loner of notes.
I'm like that.
I enjoy my own
understand.
Space. Even now that I'm dating, I'm in a serious relationship. This man is amazing, but one of the problems he has with me is I continuously ask him to leave me alone. Do you know why? Because I like being by myself.
Okay, I like being by myself, but when it comes to my man,
I like my space. I like my space. And my daughter will come and open my door. I'm like, hi, you're alive. She goes back. Hi, you're alive. She goes back. And well, I don't know if I should say unfortunately or fortunately, Chloe is ADHD, but she's a little bit more on a higher spectrum than I am. So her hyperactivity is crazier than mine. So she will come and she wants to show you this. One moment she's 13 going on 3. Like she's a literal toddler. The next she's 13 going on 30. She's telling you wear that, do that. She's cooking for you. So she's the only person who I can't get rid of. Like she came out of me, so I'm forced to put up with her. But with everybody else, I like staying in my own space. So while I'm in my own space, I'm stuck with my own thoughts. I do a lot of thinking. I do a lot of planning. I do a lot of just designing and coming up with stuff. So that's when I said and I thought to myself, Nat, when last were you happy? And I journal a lot. And I took a walk back to memory lane. The last time I really felt happy and never worried about a thing, I was a 15-year-old girl who was in high school, who was in a dance group by force. I couldn't even dance. I would be a curtain raiser. Who was a supermodel, who used to love fashion. I would cut uniforms. I mean, we had, Regina Muli girls would tell you, we called it check-up. I cut my uniform, made it into this little thing that anyone else could not fit into. So I remembered that and I was like, why don't I get back to that? One of the hardest things for me to do was go back and walk into church. Literally get back to being Catholic. I don't know anybody there, but I went back there. And the moment I figured that they embraced me, I was like, right, so social media is going to embrace me. And then that's when I came back. Because I'd taken a break for like 9 months. Yeah. When I came back, the first thing I said was, words are powerful. Initially, the name Enchantress was my lingerie line. I used to do lingerie.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
That wasn't my name. Enchantress by Nate was Enchantress Lingerie by Natalie. But people started calling me that. And now you can't run away from that. And it became a persona. So I say to myself, when I look at what I am right now and what I was a year ago, it's 2 different people. Like you walk into a room, people are like, your aura, man, it's so different. So I want to get rid of words that don't mean right for me. I mean, if you Google the word Enchantress, the definition is not really nice. So I then say to myself, what do I want to be? In another world, I'll be Madam President because, I've got dreams of becoming a politician. So what am I going to be? I am a stylist now, right? And I'm doing this very well. I am going to call myself Madam Stylist. Why? Because I want to make sure every time I introduce myself, I remind people that it's Madam to you. It's Madam to you. And that's how it came to life. And when I came back rebranded. I realized I didn't have to do much to earn respect. There's always a few naysayers who want to have things to say. There's always a few people who want to have comments, but they can't take away the effort and the work that I've put into becoming.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the negativity?
I don't. I don't. The problem starts when you want to deal with something you can't control.
It doesn't affect you.
I can deal with myself, with the choices that I make, but I can't deal with how you perceive me. I can't deal with what you think of me. There's a particular lady who will write anything and everything about me. She doesn't miss a chance. But it's a reflection of her character, not of mine. Because I'll tell you this is what I was taught by my mentor. I've got a couple of mentors. Some who mentor me in my business, some will mentor me in my political dreams. The one thing I was taught by everybody around me is that people judge you based on what you put out there. They judge you based on what you do and what you say. So if someone comes and says you're a dog, until you bark, we are not going to think you're a dog. So while you go and you write paragraphs about me, you say whatever about me, when I go and I knock on a particular door, they'll remember what I said to you. So my silence is actually what takes me places. Every time I sit in a meeting with important people, like right now, I am the official stylist for one very important person. Announcement coming soon.
Okay.
Sure, you saw it on my WhatsApp yesterday, but please don't say a word.
Okay.
The first thing she said about me was, Mwanangu, I respect your silence. In silence, there's a lot.
That's actually good. I never thought. Okay, normally I just ignore people because people say stuff.
But don't deal with stuff, because if you deal with it, it means you're acknowledging it. It's the last time I dealt with stuff, I lost my kids. And my daughter was depressed.
Yeah.
Imagine depressing an 11-year-old. Because in the process, my child was called names. My child was trolled and bullied. And she came and she said to me, people at school are saying this. She's not on social media. She has TikTok, but her friends, we have parents, will be like, that's your friend, right? And then parents are now telling their kids not to be friends with Chloe. So I'm thinking, no matter how bad I am, how do you troll a little girl?
Yeah.
And while we're at it, she's 11. Whether she's hyperactive or she's whatever, nobody chooses for their child to be on the spectrum. And now the reason why I really stand hard on these mental health issues, my child is ADHD and there's a mild version of autism, which the doctor confirmed, right? And we can even see in a mannerism and certain things that she does, which is why I have to be very intentional about how I raise her and what I do for her, which is why I have to support her. So the last thing I want to do is raise my child, forcing her to accept what other people pin on her, because I was raised that way. I wasn't raised with love. I didn't grow up in a family where I was loved and embraced. I didn't grow up with parents who hugged you. I didn't grow up with parents who believed in telling you good night.
So most of us millennials
didn't. And for me, it's even worse because up until now, I have to deal with problematic siblings, with disrespect from people who you even provide for. It's things that I do. I can't come online and be like, right, mic check 1, 2. You don't know. I can't do that. It then becomes a reflection of who I am. And what I don't want to do ever in this life, Todo, is to raise a child who has to heal from her childhood. I am healing from my childhood.
We're all healing from our
Half
childhood.
of the problems that I have right now, half of why you guys don't like me, is a reflection of my childhood. I mean, my grandmother tried. But remember, your gran is a third party. Both my parents were not really great examples. Right now, I have to take care of certain things that are a result of the mistakes that they made. But then you look at it and you think, do I want this for my kids? I don't want that for my kids. So you don't deal with stuff, because the last time I dealt with stuff, I lost babies and my daughter was depressed. It's hard to take a child to therapy. Up until now, she always says to me, you made me a nutcase. I was in therapy. Because in her head, when you're in therapy, you're a nutcase.
Because that's what the world, especially Africans, that's what we think. I went to therapy once and it really, really helped me. So I really encourage people to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I was in a state, I was just going through a lot.
You were heartbroken. Amongst other things.
There was not even, I was even in a relationship. The person I was in a relationship with was the one who suggested I go to therapy.
That's lovely.
And most of the time, okay, the things that I would do, I thought maybe it's because someone cheated on me or someone did this. But in therapy, I realized it was because of what happened in my childhood. I was acting that way.
Oh, you were paranoid.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
And I thought it was because of what had happened to me. But after talking to my therapist for like a week, I realized it was something that happened to someone that was close to me when I was young. Things that I saw happening to someone that I really loved. So now I was thinking, this can never happen to me. So therapy is, I would, guys, go to therapy. And it's only cheap. It's very cheap. Hey? People think like, I think I was paying like $15 a session or $10 a session or something like that. So yeah, I am an advocate for therapy.
Now imagine sending a 12-year-old to therapy. She would come back and be like, my friends think I'm a nutcase. And then there's a time where the school therapist noticed she got a little angry at school. Like you could tell something was not okay. That's because she would see how I was crying at home. So they had to call me in and say, Nat, Chloe is an extension of you. So whatever it is you go through, she feels it even more. And because you do realize this is a neurodivergent child, her brain doesn't work like that of an average child. So she overthinks things. So she got to a point of saying, Mama, did you write a will? And I was like, why?
Oh,
She was like, because I'm
man.
realizing you're not okay, but I'm also realizing how you're so alone. And now I'm wondering, I know if you died, there's my brother who's a pharmacist. He'll look after me, but will everyone else let him? So maybe just put a will in place in case something happens to you.
shame.
I know you're not dying because God will look after you. But if
What's
you die,
going on in your head?
if
What you
you
saying,
like, she's
Bessie?
thinking all this. If you die, I want to make sure that I can run your business because you've taught me. Like, can I?
Man.
So I'm there and I'm thinking, Chloe, breathe. You've said 16 things in one go. I'm not dying, but I realized my child was now beginning to realize that she's losing it. For me, that was a wake up call because when I went through that whole situation, it's because I dealt with it. By dealing with it means I was reading the comments. I was seeing all of it. From then on, until someone comes and says that I don't like money, I am not commenting. If you post and if you say she doesn't like money, or if you come and post a sex tape of me, now I'll speak out because I have never taken my phone to record one. So if ever anything of that sort comes out, I am a mother first, or I am defending myself to the death. Those are the only two reasons why you will see
like
me
money.
pen to paper, right? And say she doesn't like money. No, that I'll come and be like, in which universe? Otherwise, you can write anything. Call me a dog. Call me a giraffe. I'll be a giraffe in peace. Call me a green bean.
Wow.
But I don't deal with stuff.
Okay, so you're a single mother, right? And you mentioned
I'm a single parent.
A
There's
single parent.
difference.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What's the difference?
I play both parents to my daughter. My daughter's father has seen her twice her whole life, when she was 2 and when she was 5. That's by choice. I respect the man. He gave me a beautiful child, but he's absent. He's very absent. This is something I've been mocked about. I mean, literally, I even had a family member last week told me, you're there with a child whose father is absent. Like it's a joke. So it's one of those blows that I take, very low blows, if you ask me. But I am a single parent because where they need Chloe's father, I go. It's only now that my brother, the pharmacist, will stand up and go. And my partner then says, allow me to come and also play that role. But remember, when you're dating in your 30s, these things are not permanent.
What do you mean they're not permanent?
It's men come and go.
I was about to ask.
Zimbabwean men, the dating pool is full of pee. Zimbabwean men are confusing. It's you bump into one man, you're certain you stay, and you're saying, oh my God, it's happening. Things change. So I've told myself until someone actually makes a commitment that makes sense, I'm not letting my child get hooked onto them. But at the same time, I don't stop myself from dating because I'm a mother. I don't want to be bitter and sexually frustrated and angry and end up projecting on my child. Oh, yeah. So I don't allow my partner to come and play dad. So they need a dad, I'm dad. They need a mom, I'm mom. And because I'm a young parent, there's times where I get bullied by other parents. Literally, like you can see, these people are thinking I'm a small child. So I've normalized the art of asking them, who are you talking to like that? Don't. And then, okay, she's mad. But I'm a single parent in the sense that I look after her all by myself with no help whatsoever. The only help I get is from my friends and the few family members who care to help. But literally seeing that she has health insurance, she's clothed, she's healthy, she's happy, she's thriving, it's all me.
So you're saying it's only when a man commits to you?
When he puts a commitment that actually makes sense.
What is that? What does that look like?
Put a ring on my finger.
So you want to get married?
I would love to have 4 more kids. I mean, that was always the plan. I've always wanted to have a big family, white picket fence, the works.
So, and what does, so if in case that partner, we don't know you, but if in case it doesn't work.
Poor guy. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
In case it doesn't work, what do you want?
I'll tell you one thing. Just like I do with all my relationships, people come and go. Do you realize a friendship breakup is more painful than a relationship romantic breakup?
Oh, yeah.
If I've dealt with losing someone who I was best friends with, lived within the same house for over a year, someone I cared about so much that I would not let them go without anything. I treated them like they're part of me.
Their family.
Do you really think I would die over a man? I've died over a man once. I died and resurrected. So after that, I promise you, after that, I think one of the most toxic traits about me is my ability to just say, okay, and move on.
No, I don't even think it's toxic because I've gotten to that point. I used to be like, oh, please don't leave me. Now it's like, hey, because I realized the older you become, the bitter man you start dating. So every time a man leaves, I'm like, okay, something better is going to come. Definitely, because there's no way you've been dating. You're not going to go back to dating down. Do you understand?
No, but I'll tell you what. I think that's another mentality we need to outgrow. What's dating up and what's dating down? Because I think in our 30s, we're dating quality men. And I'll speak from experience. There are times where I really agree with Shadaya. Shout out to you, Tawana. I'll tell you what.
You heard it here, guys.
I'll tell you why. There's
sometimes.
Times where I agree with Shadaya, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
There's certain facts that we don't want to hear as African women because we are too stubborn. My mom's brother was my dad growing up because he's the one who sent me to school. He's always said to me when I find myself in these little altercations, remember the public never wants to hear facts.
Okay.
There's one thing he always says, and I will repeat it. There is something about a woman who submits to their man and knows their man's position. That woman is honored by their man. And I acknowledge that when he says that. But where I beg to differ with him is here. You will submit to a man. You will give him your all. But if this man has money in his head, so do you realize where you're going to be at odds? So let's date for quality now that we're grown. What's quality? Character. There's nothing as awful as waking up next to a terrible, cruel person just because they have money. We assume dating up is dating a richer man. I mean, I've been there, I've dated very rich men. I've also dated very modest men who don't have much. And I can tell you, the kind man always wins.
But
dating up is dating a man who is thoughtful. It's dating a man who's kind. It's dating a man who puts your feelings first. It's dating a man who's respectful of you.
But he can have all those and money.
No, I would love the money. Believe me, I would love the money. But there's a point in time where there was the money, but there was no happiness and peace. There was the money. This man would see me once a month. And because he had so much power, I wasn't allowed to see other people. I'm in my 30s. Let's be real, Todo. We are drinking wine. When I be honest,
please
tell me of a woman in their 30s who doesn't have the sex drive of a feral dog.
No one.
Our sex drive is up there, right? And then you're dating a man who wants to see you once a month.
It's crazy.
That qualifies for abuse.
It's crazy.
So after being exposed to such, I will pick a man who's kind, thoughtful, present,
available
any day over a man who wants to come and buy you a nice bag or take you wherever. Been there, done that. And I think also I've realized that, we might look at things like, oh, these things are only valuable because of that. I've actually seen when you really put in the work and over time when you build a brand and a name for yourself, you actually get paid.
Oh yeah.
Because some of the quality of clients I have right now, I can tell you for a fact, I need only 10 people to buy from me a month for me to afford my life. Just 10.
Wow.
And I have a list of clients who are like regulars, right? My regulars, if 10 of them patronize me a month, knowing their pattern of shopping from me, I'm good. Chloe is in school, in an 8-year school for that matter. My bills are paid. I'm happy. My car is functionally moving. I'm well fed. I'm well clothed. What else do I want?
So if a guy comes to you, he's renting maybe a flat in the avenues, $500 flat. He's driving a Honda Fit. He's kind, modest. He's loyal.
May I please interject? Gosh, this is going to be so controversial, but do you really think he would have the confidence to come and approach me?
Some do.
I'm yet to meet one of those.
Some do.
I'm yet to meet one like that.
If
I'm yet to meet. Do you know the reason why I would be happy to entertain him?
Yeah, why?
The fact that he had the confidence to come and say hi. Because I've seen grown men in a 300 series shaking at the thought of, hey, Natalie, no. I'm like, guys, I'm friendly. I smile, okay? And they're like, no, you're so intimidating. So imagine if that happened, I would embrace that man, particularly because he's got the confidence to come and approach me. But for the record's sake, I'm not single. I'm taken. So please don't
She's
come.
taken, guys.
Yeah, don't come.
Okay, so what's the most embarrassing thing that you've done for a relationship?
Are you sure you want to hear that?
Yes, please. We want all the tea.
Oh, gosh. I sent that I'm coming to you as a woman message. I need a drink.
Wow.
And this woman said to me, even as a carrot, a green bean, or an owl, may you never ever have the guts to pick up your phone with those scrawny little fingers of yours and send me a message again, idiot. So and she blocked me.
So what did the message say? I'm coming to you as a woman.
I said, hi, sister girl. I'm coming to you as a woman. And then blah, 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 ningi, like, I hate small talk. So believe me, I'm not going to come and be like, hi, and not, I will state my effect. Young paragraph. The part where she said, your scrawny little fingers, I looked at them and I was like, and I'll tell you from then on.
As even as a carrot.
I'll tell you from then on. I don't ask other women about my man. I will deal with him.
I don't know why women do that though.
No, I think it was everybody has to go through that. Like everybody has to feel like I want to go ask.
I've never done that.
And let me tell you the sad thing. This was my ex-husband. So I'm going to ask this woman to woman, this is my man, but hey, she didn't care. And the one thing that she was correct about was the fact that he owed me forever after, not her. 5 years later, post-divorce, you start realizing that lady was right.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who lied to me, not her. Because if your partner is happy with you, they're not going to go look sideways. So I'm always looking at women and thinking, I don't know why we want to blame the other woman for the things that our men do. Because our men are the ones that go and look for these women and start things and whatever.
When I used to be in a toxic relationship, I used to like physically fight the man. I would not even call the woman.
You would punch him?
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm delivered. Now
I know, like guys, no to violence. GBV applies to both men and women. We don't support beating men. From time to time, throw a candle at him.
I used to, because I'd never even want to talk to the other woman, because it's like, you are the one I'm in a relationship with. You are my man. Respect me. That one, we went to her and asked her out, and you probably lied about me and said, that one, I don't love her anymore.
I'll tell you another embarrassing thing that happened. This man comes, lies. I know this one. She's just friends with my niece. Comes to me and acts normal. God is a mysterious way of exposing liars. It so happens me, him, and the other lady are in the same space. And this lady is innocently unaware of the fact that I'm in the mix and is innocently in a full-blown relationship with this man. He spent time with me, he spent time with her. Man. Long story short, it was a mess of me realizing I was the fool in this situation. Because one, I was the broke person amongst all three. So when you're the one with no money, you shut up. Point number 2, my friend said, take off your shoes, let's go home. Because the situation had escalated and the argument was a little too rich for my caliber. So I then just realized I was the help and I left.
Oh man.
So for me, I think I've learned that adult relationships require due diligence. Like I promise you, I go in stalker mode when I meet a man. I want to know everything. Like,
me too.
Why do you have a black spot on your toe? What happened to you? What's your grandmother's middle name? Because you'll be busy with a man and he'll be busy with other things.
Okay, so what's the most toxic thing that you have done?
I've cut off literally all my family. Yeah.
Why?
Just family dynamics and things. It's toxic, but I was protecting myself and my child from them.
Okay.
Sometimes I think we're raised in societies where we're forced to subscribe to this propaganda of a family's family. But if they are toxic to you and they're not good to you, they're disrespectful and not supportive of you, you have a choice of walking away. The same way we can cut off men, we should also cut off people. So for me, the most toxic thing I've ever done is cut off family. Everybody. Literally, if I say everyone, I mean everyone.
But don't you think, because I think...
Except for my child.
Yeah. Don't you think, because I've cut off people and then people come to me like, yeah, you can't do that. One day you're going to need them.
You can.
One day you're going to need them. What do you think about that?
I think this has been happening over time. We cut each other off. Sorry guys, I talk fast because I stammer sometimes. You cut each other off. Now you get back. You do it again. You get back. And the pattern is the same. The reason why people are comfortable to continuously disrespect you and treat you badly is because they have normalized that you can take their nonsense. So I got to a place where I say it to myself. The only person who owes me loyalty or anything is my child, because she's under my key. The moment that child turns 18, they are full adult, they're their own person. She can wake up and turn on me. I can't stop her.
Yeah.
Right now she's a minor. That's the only person that I owe anything. So I chose myself. And like I said, from the time that I found myself, the one thing that I know the most is I love myself enough to choose what's best for me. So it wasn't working for me. The relationships were not worth it for me. I felt like I was just a source of income for some and nothing else. So I woke up one day and I said, I'm going to cut my family off. When they are ready to have the conversation where they acknowledge the wrongs that I've gone through, the abuse that I've endured, the problems I've seen and gone through, we can then have a conversation, because I can't continue. You know, when you're ranting and you're complaining, you're labeled, I'm paying, because in an argument, I will scream or even threaten, my boyfriend can beat you, but then no one is going to listen to you because you're angry. So sometimes your silence will make people miss you and realize your importance. So I woke up one day and I said, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm walking away. And when the time is right, we will talk again and we'll fix things again. Okay. And if we don't, it's okay.
And what is the most toxic thing that a man has done to you?
He broke up with me over text after a whole amazing 2 years of relationship. And my TikTok girlies know this. He said, and I quote, time has come for me to throw in the towel. If I say I don't love you, I'll be lying. But I just can't be here. Up until now, I'm yet to find that towel that he threw. I want to understand why he threw it and what happened. Because we were so in love today, the next day he was throwing in the towel. Till now, that man has never given me closure. Like, we were so in love. My whole personality was being his girlfriend.
You thought you were...
And then he was promising to marry me 2 months from then. And then he woke up one day and he said he was throwing in the towel. And I think nobody has ever topped that chat. Like, that remains the most hurtful thing anyone has ever done. Like, we are good, we good night, we kiss on and touch on the phone. Like, good night, mama, I love you, see you tomorrow. And then the next morning you wake up.
He's gone.
Till this day.
Yeah, man, I bet he's a Harare man.
Of course it's a Harare man. I told you the dating pool in Harare is full of pee. I repeat, the dating pool is full of pee. And it's very sad. Someone said to me, but how does a man leave a girl like, the streets have no VIP, guys. The streets have no VIP. There is nothing important, especially you can have the nicest body, the prettiest face. You can have PhDs and degrees, be the smartest of the bunch. They
will
care.
still show you pepe.
They don't care. But there are good men out there, though.
Really?
Yes. I think I have encountered a good man. I'm the toxic one right now because I'm forever trying to look for things like, why did you do this? I'm paranoid. Why are you being nice? What's the catch? Because I'm not used to being around men who are kind. So now you're forced to be in a space where when you're around someone who's nice, like even if you're kind to me, I'm going to try and ask you, what do you want from me? Because I'm not used to people being nice to me.
I'm saying Harare is toxic. People are always wondering.
Not just Harare, just the world's not a nice place. So I struggle to accept help or to accept affection without questioning it. If you're nice to me, I want to know why. I really get so paranoid and I even get anxiety from it. So I'm learning to be nice, but he's a very kind and patient gentleman. By now he would have left. Him and my best friend. I don't know what that girl sees in me. Like, girl, I worry about you sometimes. Your choices are very concerning.
Why are you staying?
How are you friends with me? Why are you staying? But
yeah.
But above all things, I think the reason behind me even being mentally stable is my helper, auntie from my house. Everyone on the internet knows.
I think I've seen.
Everyone knows her as Chem Sango. That's a nickname that Chloe gave her. She wanted to open a TikTok account to find recipes. Chloe just creates an account and says it's Chem Sango. Why? We don't know. But remember, her brain is twisted. So we just said, you know what, it is what it is.
It is okay.
That lady has held me down for the 5 years I've had her.
Oh, that's
She's
nice.
the one
That's
person
beautiful.
who can come while I'm going through a meltdown and just, her voice, she'll just be like, are you really doing that? Just that statement. And I know. There are times where I will throw a tantrum. She's the one who pick the phone and call my mother and be like, give her time. She'll come around. So I appreciate the fact that even like with what's going on right now, she's the one who calls and checks on my mom and be like, deal with the siblings, they'll come around. In the meantime, let her be. You need people like that around you. For me, it's her, it's my daughter, it's my friend Tatenda. Gosh, I ended up saying her name. They've kept me floating. She's a very private person, so she's gonna choke me for this. But I'm sorry, girl, I said your name. They keep me floating. And with Tatenda, I'll tell you this. There's a time where we actually had an altercation. Silly story, it was because of a small amount of money. It was a misunderstanding where I could have just said no pamangwan, but I was rude. Okay. Why? Because I was used to being around people who end up escalating things. She gave me time. When she came around, she said her piece. She threatened to slap me a couple of times, but she told me, through all of it, I'm not leaving your side. I want to teach you what it's like to have a healthy, happy relationships. And I can tell you right now, I've learned how to actually have friends without wanting much from them. I've learned how to have boundaries. Because she's always reminded me, boundaries, Natalie. Normalize knowing that certain things are for you. You don't have to be obligated to share them with me. So between her and auntie and my child, I think I'm in a very happy, healthy circle of people. And my childhood best friend who's in Germany, who consistently will check in. Like the time that I got bullied and then I lost my babies, she was pregnant herself. She flew from Germany to come see me.
Oh, that's
spent
nice.
the month with me. All of that was done because she wanted to remind me that they don't know you like I do.
Oh, yeah.
So you sit and then you ask yourself, I'm complaining, I'm crying, but then I've got people. So there's a balance between the good and the bad, which is why, like I said, never ever deal with negativity. Let them write paragraphs about you, stories about you. Write your story on a different paper.
Yeah, okay.
If you're angry, write a book. I'm writing a book. Expose about my life.
Please do.
No, it will be released the day I die. Because if I release it today,
No,
it's going to be smoky. Because I'm dropping names,
Oh!
scenarios. It will get smoky. That's the
such a
only
good
reason why
idea.
I wouldn't drop the book right now.
But that's such a good idea.
My lawyers know the day I die, drop the book. Let my child make money off the book sales. But I promise you, if I was to release that book, it would break a lot of hearts. Because I've been subjected to abuse of all kinds. I've been abused physically, sexually, emotionally. I've gone through a lot of things that I don't talk about. But the one thing I always tell everyone, I don't identify as a victim today.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. The moment you allow yourself to be a victim, you're victimizing yourself. You're allowing yourself to play small. So if I decided to be a victim, I'm like, oh yeah, this happened to me. I was never going to be the person that I am right now. There's a particular picture of me that I like to post from time to time. That picture looks like a different person. I was going through a very dark, rough patch some 12 years ago. But when you see me now, you were like, girl, how did you get here? I can say it's grace, but that grace comes in different forms. Mine came through destiny helpers, etc. But my point still remains. Where you are right now is not where you're always going to be. So you can be sad, you can frown. I mean, I can do you big right now, like we call it in the streets. But then a year later, somebody else is going to do you good.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I don't want is to owe the universe a karmic debt. Because if I do something bad to you, best believe when karma comes, it claims a pound of flesh and the blood that goes with it. You're a lawyer, you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about.
Natalie, guys.
I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
It's like you knew my notes already because you're just going to places
Allow me to say this, guys. I struggle with being around people because I'm big on energy. So I'm so comfortable. I'm not drinking. If I didn't like you, I was going to talk off the wine.
Serious?
But I'm talking off
But
the
we
heart.
want you to drink.
No, I'm going to drink afterwards. I'm talking off the heart because the energy is just right. Your aura is amazing. I feel at peace. I'm comfortable. So I'm here because I like being here. I'm enjoying being here, which is why
we like you here. You should
I'm
come
not
back
holding
again.
back because the one thing about me, I'm very diplomatic. Like if you came to me and you said F you, I'm not going to say F you back. I'll respond to you and say, I don't know what about me made you feel like that, but I would like to apologize because I clearly triggered you feeling that way. However, when you're calmer, you remember that I also feel the same way. So in the end, I will cast it to you, but I will diplomatically put it in your way that you will be like, you could have just shouted and said F you and walked away.
It would have been better. Because now with that, you go home thinking, that took again.
That's exactly how I go about stuff.
Okay, guys, in conclusion, what advice would you give somebody that wants to be a stylist, that wants to be an entrepreneur in Zimbabwe right now?
Okay, so there's this stereotype that the market is oversaturated. There's nothing like that. There's only one you. When I got into my field, I'm in retail. We had giants. We had Posh. We had Genjang, amongst others. And when I started, it was terrifying. But the one thing that made me stand out is how I marketed my stuff. It's how I did my stuff. So it's everything you do is limited to you. It ends and starts with you. So are you going to start it to see where it goes? And like I always say, the worst thing that even happened to you is a no. If someone says no, then you can try again. So if ever you are trying to get into entrepreneurship, just remember the worst that can happen is a no. And when they say no, you try again somewhere else. 10 no's will amount to 1 yes. And it takes 1 yes after 100 no's for you to get to where you're going. And destiny helpers, guys. destiny helpers. I don't think it's possible for us to get to where we want to get without having help. That could be family, friends, boyfriends, girlfriends. Just allow somebody to help you.
Yeah.
And don't let people convince you that, no, you know what, just because your boyfriend gave you that, someone will get the same thing and go and do stupid things with it. If your brain is functional enough for you to be useful, allow yourself to be useful. Just don't shut down help just because you're too proud. Never let pride get in the way of your tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's all I can say. And if you want to be a stylist, I don't think it's something that someone has to want to be. It's something that's born within you. Yes, it's, you don't wake up and decide, you know what, I'm going to be a stylist. Because, for example, I'm in school now for creative direction and styling, right? I got a diploma first, now I'm doing the degree. One of the entrance requirements is for you to bring a project where you're going to showcase your talent. So if you're not creative, you're not creative. So you can't wake up and decide you want to be a stylist. But if you know you were born with, you know, the eye for it and you have the expertise for it, and what you now need is just, you know, to be propelled in the right direction and do right, maybe send me a shout out, and I don't mind sharing schools, recommendations, etc. Because, you know, all it takes is just somebody sharing. We don't gatekeep here.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming. Thank you.
Thank
I
you for
really,
having
really
me.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This was awesome. We should do it again.
No.
She's just like, no, you guys have got too
No.
much information now.
The only reason why I came here is because my best friend is a colleague of yours. So she was like, nah, you know, Tolu, she won't be toxic.
No, I'm not toxic.
Yeah.
Only to men that cheat.
I said I don't do public appearances. I don't do podcasts. I'm not a celebrity, guys. I'm not an influencer. I am just a businesswoman, a retailer to be specific, and a stylist. So I am not even a celebrity stylist. I do not want anything to do with these things. I'm only here because this is a girl conversation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And also, if you have any questions, anything that you'd want me to talk about, go to my Twitter account, X account, @Todo_Seams. Our Instagram account is Uncook and Wine, Facebook Uncook and Wine, TikTok Uncook and Wine. Thank you. Bye.